Hello everyone. Today we'll be starting with some new sessions. So we have the front page there with us, and on the front page we see a tunnel. So we have this first one. This is the tunnel. Then we have the Libra sign. That's why we will be studying also about astrology. We have XLV, which is a Roman numerical, which is 45 degrees. So 45 degrees is again in terms of geometry. We need to study the angles also over here. We have the mason symbol, so we need to study about the masonry or details about that. Then we have squaring of time and price. On one side we have time, and on the other side we have price, so we need to study about that. As we saw on the back side of the book, we had a pyramid. So pyramid is more related to sacred geometry, which is very important. We have those grids which are there, so in terms of grids we need to try study more about esoteric and occult knowledge. Hello, everyone. Today we'll be starting with some new sessions about the book, that is The Tunnel Through the Air, and interpretations about Tunnel Through the Air, what we need to read through Tunnel Through the Air. Especially, we'll be talking and starting with the cover page, the original book's cover page. Of course, we'll be talking why we have selected this, because people have a controversy that this is the original book or something else is the original book. So we'll also talk about that. So first of all, let's see what we'll be able to interpret through this original cover of The Tunnel Through the Air. Now see, if you go on Google across, you'll be finding various books. I've just tried to find out Tunnel Through the Air original cover. This is what we got all together. There are different covers which have been talked about, different original books which have been talked about. Let's say, for example, this is there, or maybe even this is there. So I found out about this cover which is there. So I went on Google and tried to find out more about that. So I came across this cover page, this book specifically, and tried to find out more information regarding that. And I came to know that this is actually a reprint. The publisher is the same, but this is like 1981 reprint of 1927 original. So this is what I found out as a difference. This is the other book which is also there, but if I look at probably the print is there, that is of 1987, maybe a later print, not the original one. Second thing is, this is more like a cover on the front side. So we need to see, because generally it's like you can actually review the cover also from the books. So let's try to interpret more about that. Now you need to correlate. My cursor is on the left hand side, but it's probably like zooms across and shows us more of details. So we have the book, which the name of W.D. Gann, which has been given on the top in bold. Now, if you start scanning the book, so it starts from the left hand side. It is the name which has been given, The Tunnel Through the Air. Of course, this has been shown more of in 3D format. Then we have tunnel kind of thing, a storm which is there, but it is like shown as a tunnel being vertical. Let's assume that. So it probably directs us from the bottom to the top side, something, because it is talking about tunnel through the air, so there can be different interpretations about that. We'll talk and discuss more about that part also. As we go down, what do we see? So we first of all we see something like a balanced beam. This we can talk in terms of Libra sign, which is takes us to astrology. So we should be studying something related to astrology. Second thing that we see is, if you see on the left hand side of the beam, we see a number which is XLV. XLV. XLV is a Roman numeral that we see over here. And if you search on Google, you'll get about 45. So it talks about 45 degree. This is what we will be assuming, because 45 degrees is something which is important. And we can also see that the beam is slightly been inclined. So maybe that may be reason. So one is we find out that we have to study about astrology. Second is in terms of degree, maybe 45 degrees is going to be something important. We have also understood that 45 degree also talks about 1 unit of time, which is related to 1 unit of price. So this can be this can be different interpretations in terms of minutes, maybe in terms of hours, in terms of days, in terms of months, in terms of years also. So there are different interpretations which we need to study. Next, we find out that on the left hand side of the beam, we have time, which has been shown by an hourglass over there. And on the right hand side, we have something of price. Now, these are the old candles which have been shown over here. If you see, there are probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 candles which have been shown. And if you see at the bottom, probably at every candle, there is a cross mark on the left hand side, cross mark which is coming in black, which is at the bottom. And whenever there is a cross mark at the top, it is in white. So black and white to show about a closing which is happening at the top in terms of that cross. So green candle can be in terms of cross on the white, probably on the top, and a red candle probably with the cross at the bottom. So this is just one of the interpretations that I'm thinking about. So we need to think about in terms of squaring of time and price. So time comes first and then price. Next, as we see a unique logo, a symbol over here. This is the Mason's logo or the symbol which we can talk about. These are the tools which have been used by the Masons, and this has been very well known in terms of as a tool, as a symbol of Masonry. So we need to study about that part also. If we look probably at the bottom, we see some kind of grid which has been formed. This has been shown as a three-dimensional grid. So what we try to interpret is, first of all, yes, there is a tunnel. Now, tunnel has different interpretations in terms of time. It can be the sky, because then the tunnel goes towards the top side. It talks about air also. So air can be in terms of astrology, talking about especially the air signs, the zodiac signs. We'll talk about this different signs also that are there. It can be also in terms of maybe the pyramid, because we'll come down to the pyramid also, and pyramid also has a tunnel. Probably that is a topic of study interest to us, which you need to study. And there are other interpretations of the tunnel, which can be again in terms of time travel also. This is just a wild guess. Probably we need to study more about that to get the details. So this can also be there. You have seen the movies Avengers Endgame, so there was a time travel over here. So if you're talking about tunnel, maybe probably destinations may be different starting from one point to another. We never know. Probably Gann must have studied about that part also, because we're just having a wild guess of all these things together. This can be a topic of interest also. So this is only the front page of Tunnel Through the Air. We also need to look on the back end side. Also understand one thing is, this is only the front page. Front page is like a cover, which is there. Inside that, there is a hardbound banding, which is totally different. Let me probably show you about that also. So why I've considered this one? See, there are different, first of all, publications, which we need to see. So this is a different publication. This is a different publication. This is again a different publication. This is a different publication. This book is a different publication. This book is a different publication. This is what the hardbound looks like. Now, there are some people who probably have given a different publishing date, January 1st, 1927. I doubt about this. Why? Because if you look at the book, that is The Tunnel Through the Air, or Looking Back from 1940 by W.D. Gann, the copyright is, of course, 1927. But if you look at the forward, which is there, the date which is being given on the forward is May 9th, 1927. So if a book has a forward, of course, the publication goes after the forward, not before that, about the date of this book. But yes, the hardbound books look something similar to that. So this is how the hardbound book would be looking from inside. And on this, there would be a top cover. So this is what the top cover would be looking like overall. So we have the front page and this is the back page. Now, if you look on the back there, we see a pyramid. From this book, probably we can have different interpretations, not only about the pyramid, but the grid which was there on the front side. Yes, this is on the back side also. Not only at the bottom, but we see this also at the top. Clear sky, but something which is there at the bottom and something which is there at the top. Of course, we need to have this interpretations also. So overall, if we see, yes, what we see in terms of interpretations over here. So we have the front page there with us. And on the front page, we see a tunnel. So we have this first one. This is the tunnel. Then we have the Libra sign. That's why we will be studying also about astrology. We have XLV, which is a Roman numerical, which is 45 degrees. So 45 degrees is again in terms of geometry. We need to study the angles also over here. We have the Mason symbol. So we need to study about the masonry or details about that. Then we have squaring of time and price. On one side we have time, and on the other side we have price. So we need to study about that. As we saw on the back side of the book, we had a pyramid. So pyramid is more related to sacred geometry, which is very important. We have those grids which are there. So in terms of grids, we need to try study more about esoteric and occult knowledge. This is something again really interesting, important for us, because from the cover page, maybe probably you'll be able to grab some really important and interesting things which are maybe not there in the book. Now, why study the cover page? If you look at these books of Shakespeare's, which is the sonnets, there is some beautiful interpretations which has been done about this book. So we'll be able to find some really interesting thing through the interpretation only about the cover page. So this is about the book. So that's why just maybe Gann must have taken some information from this kind of books, and that's why he has prepared that cover page where we'll be able to get some excellent information in terms of interpretations. That's why we are studying the cover page also, not only the cover page but also the back page, because both the pages are important, and our focus should be on these things, because W. Gann, through his cover page, has told us specifically to study on this important topic. So that's why we'll be studying about sacred geometry. We'll be talking about esoteric occult knowledge, which is again something really interesting, important, and probably from this maybe we'll be trying to get more information. We will be also talking about the masons knowledge, which is there, again something really important. We have touch based of course through astrology, and we'll be also talking about geometry in a totally different way. Why? Because this talks about the angles. We have tried to understand how angles are important, and WD Ghana has again told us that he has tried to find out more about, or he got the information about law of vibration, in which the letters and the numbers were being used by our ancestors in olden days. So we need to understand more about that part also. So we'll continue further on these topics. Thank you so much. We'll probably meet you in the next session again.